Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back. You know, the good thing is that we really didn't find a topic that Joe was passionate about.
Yeah, so Joe, I want you to repeat everything you said on the break.
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm still going.
By the way, whenever break went, Joe went into overdrive.
But we do want to talk about the student loans because you're kind of broaching the subject with me the other day, and it sounded like a pretty interesting program.
Yeah.
To help, people who have, they're coming out of college right now, $100,000 debt, higher.
There's the one good thing. I tried to get one of my credit consultants to come down that's trained and knowledgeable on the subject.
Randall's not trained.
But unfortunately, he got an appointment scheduled this morning and couldn't come. So I'm kind of out in the cold on it again because he's more intelligent on the subject than I am about the student loan thing. But the short version is that back in 2007, actually, it's a while back, the government really made a lot of a push to give people options to get student loans back in shape. If it's a government-backed loan, we run into in our business one of the credit issues that we see very, very commonly is student loan issues.
Right.
And from a lending side, you can speak on this, more with more expertise than I. If it's a government-backed loan, you're not going to get a government loan.
Right. If it's in default, no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
That's
If it's in default. So, and the principle I tell folks with the dealing with the government, if it's a tax lien or anything else, the government going to get theirs.
Right. No matter what.
Right. You aren't going to get around it. Right.
Yeah.
They're going to get their money. So you might as well bite the bullet and deal with the situation. The good news is on that we've really done a lot of research recently. And we've got paired up with a lender and an organization that has a bunch of different options and some amazing options, depending on where you're at, income-wise, all that sort of thing. There's one program that is a debt forgiveness program, up to 85% of the student loan based on your income.
Oh, wow.
As long as you're going to get into a payment plan and all that sort of thing, they have that program. And then it kind of scales up from there. They have all sorts of options for you. The amount of payment you have can just start off at a really, really minimal amount to get you back into a current status, and then it scales up over so many years to allow you time to build your income up and all that sort of thing. But multiple options to get your student loans back on track, and that's the key factor, because for us, when we're dealing with the credit improvement process, if I'm going through and looking at all the negative items that are reported and we're making them verify the information, whether it's accurate or not, and stuff is being found to be inaccurate and double reported and all the crazy stuff they do, and items are being removed, yet at the same time your student loan is dinging you every month in default with a late payment, it doesn't matter. Your score is still going to stink at the end of the process.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the filtering questions for us. We actually turn people away.
And nothing good but a stinky loan.
Yes, nothing good about a stinky credit score. We turn away about 30% of the people who come to us because they just wouldn't be good candidates for credit repair. And that's one of the key things is, are you currently late or in default on a payment? Are you paying a credit card late? Are you paying a car note late or a house note? That type of thing. Because it doesn't matter if there's, if you had 10 negative items on your credit and 9 of them were items that we would typically work on and could help a person with in verifying their accuracy and all that sort of thing, but you had that one current late payment, it doesn't matter. We could get all 9 of those items removed, and on our side, we're high-fiving in the halls. We're rock stars. We did a great job. On the customer side, they're going, y'all stink. You took all my money. You didn't do anything. My scores haven't went up because of that one late payment, because that is the thing that will be tanking their credit score.
Oh, yeah.
So student loans, when it comes to that, shameless plug for my credit consultants at the office. You can give them a call. It's a complimentary consultation. And the student loan thing, I have to look up the number for the weekend thing. I'm still. I just realized that.
Sad.
But see, I am prepared. I wrote it down.
Yes.
713-936-0589. That's our weekend telephone number. Or you can just go to improvemycreditusa.com and put in your information. But they can give you, with I'm talking just like a matter of seconds, looking up information can give you options to get your student loans on check, and some really, really great options.
I mean, it's great to hear that passion you've got, Joe. No, but it is important. You know, we tell everybody all the time is, you know, one of the things that you have here in the studio at all times is a great credit guy and a great mortgage guy who can always talk about finances. You know, it's something we're both passionate about.
Yep.
So, you know, while we joke with each other about that, it's something very real. I mean, you know, and Kari and Jody, as y'all probably see all the time as well, you know, finance and this aspect and credit-wise is something that's very real. I mean, Jody and I went through it in one of our closings, but it's something that you have to be prepared for. You have to understand, know the process, know how to work through the process. I tell everybody there's always a way to work through something, you know. And Jody can attest to this. When she called me up one time and she was really, I would say, freaking out a little bit about the deal, I said, we'll work through it. There's always a way to work through it. It's just a matter of what time frame and then, more importantly, how that mechanism is going to work.
And I want that information that's, before anyone gets in my car, I'm going to have as much information that credit is good.
Absolutely.
First of all, you don't want to get them excited about buying a
but
house.
But credit
they can't.
is not the only predicator of getting somebody in your car. You know, so that's why I tell everybody all the time is just because somebody says, yes, I ran their credit and they have a 750 credit score does not predicate them getting into your car.
But it certainly helps.
It helps, right? But there's a lot of other factors that go into pre-approving somebody.
So talk about that a little bit.
You know, well, before we do that, I wanted to ask something because my mind sometimes goes off. You mentioned something about a broker drive-by or something, Kari, and I wanted to have you talk about.
Well, it's more of a flyby than a drive-by.
Flyby,
yes.
Okay. What is that? Talk about that.
Well, I know you guys just hopped off your jet and all, but
yes.
we have a
it's all gassed up and ready to go.
Right. We have a plane, and right now we're offering these broker flybys. We're also inviting buyers, qualified buyers, and sellers to take a ride up and view houses from the sky.
Awesome.
It's a cool way.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm looking for a new house up in the Woodlands area.
That is really
I'm suddenly
neat.
interested.
So it's a flyby then.
Yes, it's a flyby. So we're hosting those out of the Conroe Airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a really, really, really good idea. You talk about marketing and doing something different. That is something that is really, really neat because most people don't realize it's also really neat if you've ever flown above Houston.
Okay. Oh, many times.
It's really neat to sort of see the changes. And sometimes what you don't see on the ground, you can see above in the air. And I've had people tell me, I didn't end up buying this place. Why not? Well, because I saw that there was a big moat right behind me or there was a big tower right behind me, and I saw it as I was flying over, right?
Right.
And so very good idea because you can see things that, that eye level you really can't.
You're seeing
sometimes.
a lot more drone pictures in marketing nowadays.
Yes.
As
Right.
people are flying their drones, taking photos, and for that exact reason, you can see what's in the air. But it'd be a lot more fun to get on a
Yes,
plane.
it's a fun,
And the
exciting way
NSA
to
has
get
a
to us out there.
NSA has a website where you can go and view. No. Real estate being monitored.com. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's probably true.
Yeah, it is probably true.
Anyhow, talk about those other things. I got somebody got a 750 credit score, and all of a sudden they're not qualified.
Well, so when you qualify somebody, it's a lot more. Credit is a very important factor, right? Because credit is one of those things. Credit's like knocking on the door, right? You're still not in the house, but you've at least knocked on the door, and so that's what credit does. It says, okay, right now you have a credit profile that's going to enable you to move forward. That next step in moving forward, though, is what's the number one thing that person has to do to qualify? It's income. Okay, the second most important thing is down payment, so assets, but income. So when you look at somebody's income, then again we get back to the tax returns. You have to look and see what type of individual they are. Are they a W-2 based employee or are they a self-employed borrower? If they are self-employed, there's a 2-year history requirement of self-employment history. There's a 2-year requirement of tax returns. You have to average it over the past 2 years. Now, there's some factors that can go in as far as maybe they take some deductions or some depreciation that you can add back in regards to income. But you have to look at those items. If you're W-2 to income, then you still want to look at the tax returns for some things I talked about, as if you have unreimbursed business expenses or a Schedule E or a Schedule C, or if you are an investor and have multiple real estate transactions, we need to see what your real estate transactions look like and if they are a positive or negative in regards to income. So that's your next biggest step is look at the income. So don't just go off a prequal and say, guess what, they got a 750 credit score. Make sure that's, hey, I have reviewed their income and assets in conjunction with their credit, and they are pre-approved to get out there and buy a home. That's the way to do it. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, huh? Well, we're coming up like 3 minutes.
We're coming up with 3 minutes as usual.
And so what we typically like to do is kind of like, go around and see what you want to leave people with. So, Jody, what do you want people to know about you?
I think the one thing I want to do first off is give a shout out to the Doug Erdy Group.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug, for.
Thank you, Doug. We're enjoying this. We're glad you couldn't make it.
One thing I want to say though about the Doug Erdy Group, and I think this is really important because I always say my place or my business plan, if you will, is to be very great at something, but not to be everything to everybody. One thing about the Doug Erdy Group, we are very specialized. So, what I am targeting and very specialized in luxury and lakefront property right now. We have others that are extremely, great working with buyers or relocations, but very targeted specialized agents. So, I just want to leave people with, you have that option and, look around and make sure that whatever your specific needs are, that you find someone to work with who can best fit those needs and has a lot of experience in that specific area.
It's a relationship business. Now, Kari, I know you're new in the business, but I know there's a new person's perspective. What would you like people to know?
Well, I'm just really excited right now to get started and bring my corporate experience into it. And our new office is opening in the Woodlands on Market Street.
And when's that opening up?
September 1st. So
I expect to be invited to the party.
Yes. The party is, yes. You'll be invited.
Tell people how they can get a hold of you.
Yes. You can get a hold of me on my website. It's www.thewoodlandshomeexpert.com, or on my cell is 832-233-2483.
And Jody, I don't think we asked you that question. How can we get a hold of you?
Absolutely. I have a few websites. You can go to jodymanfred.com. It's JODIMANFRED. Or easier, jmluxuryhomes.com. And by cell phone anytime, 832-273-0867.
That is awesome. Joe, how can we reach Improve My Credit USA one more time?
You know what? I'm going to give folks my direct line, 832-239-5206. Never done that before here. 832-239-5206. If you've got student loan issues, give me a call. I'll get you with the right person.
And as always, you can go out to realestateratpack.com. You'll get that information. Today's quote, no different than anyone else. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. That's from Amelia Earnhardt. So until next time, we are out.
And you've been listening to the Real Estate Rat Pack. The question is, who's Frank, who's Sammy, who's Dean, and who's the other guy?
Chris is Frank, he's Dean, and I'm Sammy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So tune in to the really big show every Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on 100.7 The Word, KKHT.